I lived with my husband for 13 years. My husband was my first and only man. I was probably his first and definitely the only one all his life, too. Our marriage was based on great mutual love, and we always had a lot in common. In lifestyle, in thoughts, in preferences, in hobbies. The main values in life are family, loyalty, trust. My husband is an extremely intelligent man, a bit antisocial and introverted, handsome and attractive. Other women were always looking at him. I look simple, I got better after having children, and I have complexes about my appearance. I have an explosive temper, and I'm a typical choleric person. That's why we had a lot of problems. We did not live very smoothly. Sometimes there were various problems between us, and there were financial ones. For example, my husband's alcoholism. If he drinks, he swells. Sometimes he is tormented by long periods of depression. About 7 years ago, there was a situation that almost reached the point of divorce. My husband deceived me heavily. Then it was almost the collapse of everything that happened. We always solved problems in our relationship, smoothed them out, adjusted to each other, and always valued our relationship. It was hard, though. My husband had problems with his job, money problems, but we didn't leave each other for a day, even tried to sleep together after scandals. I've always loved my husband, and I love him now. He's like a part of me. But in parallel with all the mundane, everyday problems, there was a small problem in the field of bed. For a very long time, I was tormented by the problem that my husband was not attentive to me in bed, that although he enjoyed mutual pleasure, he valued his pleasure much more, and my pleasure was not the main thing for him. Therefore, you can forget about it. I suffered for a while, then I had a row, then I made many attempts to change our lives, but my husband did not support my attempts. There was a long period of time when I gave up on these problems of mine, and after a very good evening spent in bed, I just ran to the toilet or bathroom to catch up. All this despite the fact that, in principle, if you analyze, everything was not so bad for us. There was plenty of tenderness and variety, and I flatter myself that I am far from being a log in bed. Apparently, he and I have developed some complexes and barriers. Having sex has become less and less frequent. I knew perfectly well that he masturbated more often than he showed a desire to be with me. I tried to fight to talk about this topic. I tried to change it somehow. This is all against the background of everyday problems. For example, that a spouse has a habit of coming home from work in the evening, eating and falling asleep senseless, up to 22 hours until the children go to bed. After 22, get up and go to the kitchen, smoke, eat, watch TV series, or go take a bath and masturbate to porn. Well, that's what's wrong with me. I'll be honest. I work in a predominantly male team, and in general, there have always been more men in my social circle than women. And never since I met my husband have I ever seen men in them. I have never given anyone reasons or sought them out. I've always lived by my belief that family is the most important thing. That I have a beloved husband who loves me. And the last couple of years, I've been wondering what's wrong with me. Maybe something is wrong with me. A year ago, a friend started courting me, persistently, despite my indifference. I became even more tormented by why other people compliment me, why they are interested in me, but I am becoming less and less interested in my spouse. That's when the devil pulled me. I tried to kiss him. I absolutely did not like it. Just categorically. And I tried to forget everything again, attributing to myself that something was wrong with me. Well, now to the point. Not so long ago, I noticed that my work colleague was looking at me very warmly. And my colleague is young, 8 years younger than me, very handsome, but we didn't communicate much, mostly on business and only at work. He's married. I would never have thought of behaving like this in my life to give him a reason. And if such a situation had happened, we were riding in the elevator, and he kissed me. He said he'd wanted to do it for a long time, and kissed me. Holy shit, it was beautiful. I've loved kissing my husband all my life. But Brian, and this is a man whom I did not perceive as a man, well, a colleague, well, a friend, I've known him for a lot of years. But why was it so pleasant? In short, I've been suffering for 2 weeks from the roof sliding down. And she cheated on her spouse. Consciously and purposefully. The night was ridiculously cool. I confirmed my suspicions that if a man is attentive and gentle with me, then just a lot of mutual pleasure is provided easily. Apart from sex with a colleague, there is no more talk of any relationship development, and there never was, and never was going to be. I actually thought that maybe once, that's all. At least find out what it's like with others. I found out it was cool. Stupid, right? I can't lie pathologically. My husband split me like a child. He even called me a name. I didn't even have to tell anything. My husband got drunk and said he would knock out all my colleagues' teeth, and that's say goodbye to my husband's recently found good job, which he fell in love with and began to feel comfortable in. In short, I got drunk, got dressed, and left. I was always so worried about scandals and discord that my heart almost jumped out, and now I feel guilty for what I did, even more guilty for doing it consciously. I am bitter that I have trampled on all my principles of life. That perhaps it was my unwavering loyalty that held our family together. And that's how I took it and exchanged it for my pussy sufferings. You're a fool, aren't you? Holy shit, but why am I so calm now? Why am I not crying as usual? Why do I just feel empty? It scares me even more. There's too much emptiness. Somewhere on the edge of my consciousness, I don't want my colleague to get hurt if my husband decides to talk to him. He's got something to do with it. The bitch won't want to. The dog won't jump up. I'm thinking about my husband. He's gone as long as nothing happens to him. I know what deep and terrible pools his consciousness is in. Why am I writing? I'm a fool, right? All I've written, and I think it's stupid excuses? Yes. Hell, I don't even have anyone to talk to about it. I've always discussed everything only with my husband. Sorry it's too long. Maybe someone will finish reading. Why am I so empty and not ashamed?